Hey guys, please excuse my voice in this video, I'm getting over a bit of a cold. You know, I really do like anime. It's been a big part of my life since I was a little kid, and I met one of my best friends through our mutual interest in the medium. I've kind of fallen off it in the last couple of years though, and the reasons why are kind of complicated. I don't think anyone can deny that anime has a bit of a bad reputation for a multitude of problems, and a lot of these problems only seem to have been exacerbated in recent years. Oversexualization runs rampant, a truly troubling amount of shows romanticize slavery and abuse, and the industry is well known for the plausibly deniable pedophilic fantasy of the thousand-year lolly. And if we're being honest, a lot of anime seems to very cynically cater to a very creepy demographic of straight men that don't represent anime fans as a whole, but have been so loud for so long that the rest of us have been browbeaten into begrudgingly accepting that it's just something we have to live with. And that's not even getting into the outrageously toxic work environment that's become the norm for show production, which I won't get into because I'd like to finish this video sometime before the heat death of the universe. With all of this, it can be hard for newcomers to know where to start, and it can be easy to forget the merits of the art form when it's covered by so much ugh. With all that said though, anime is still a fantastic artistic medium with truly limitless potential, and so I'd like to cut through the muck and creepy fan service and offer some recommendations. Some anime for people who either don't like the state of modern anime, are new to the medium and are looking for advice, or just want something to watch that won't suddenly turn awkward the exact moment someone you want to respect you walks into the room. Some of these are old and some of these are new, but I guarantee that at least one of these will be something that you can enjoy with your non-anime watching friend, or just by yourself when you need something enjoyable. There isn't any real order or ranking system for this, and I'll avoid any major spoilers, so I guess let's just do this. I'm gonna get so many angry comments trying to defend the thousand-year lolly trope, as if it's an attack on the concept of anime, I swear to god, or as if it's something that should be defended. Alright, on with the show. I feel like I should start here since I recently claimed that Yuko Ichihara was one of my favourite characters, and I stand by that choice. Holic is the story of Kimihiro Watanuki, a young man whose life of being constantly harassed by spirits has caused him to become a complete spaz with no indoor voice and a tendency to flail and freak out over the slightest provocation.
Get off! Please just go away!
So, you know, your basic anime protagonist. But his life of spiritual spazzing is forever changed upon meeting Yuko Ichihara, all-powerful witch and the best character ever, who promises to grant his wish to not see spirits anymore if he acts as her indentured assistant, to which he begrudgingly agrees. From there, the story takes on an episodic format, with people coming to Yuko's shop and her granting their wish, for the right price, of course. And the price is always fair, no matter what the recipient might think. And there are times where they might have been better off never having wished at all.
The photograph is now gone from this world. I promise you will never see that image again. However, there is something I must ask of you in return. And this condition must never be violated.
Of course, I'll do whatever you want me to. Just tell me.
Your image must never be captured by a visual medium. You must avoid having your picture taken at all times. Avoid being caught on any film or video or projections. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you are photographed, her image will appear with yours and show the entire world the truth.
The cast is further improved by the addition of classmates Domoki and Himawari, the boy Watanuki hates and the girl he loves, respectively. Though, if you get a little bit of a gay vibe from him and Domoki, then don't worry, that's just Clamp being Clamp. Also, Mokona is here to be marketable and eat snacks.
What the heck is a mokana?
Mokana is Mokana. You would count them 1 Mokana, 2 Mokana, and then you'd stop. There's only 2.
That's supposed to be an answer?
Once you get past the spider limbs and oversized hands that make up 90% of the characters' bodies, you'll find the show to be marvelously creepy one moment and hilarious the next, with truly enjoyable characters and fantastic scenarios with mysteries galore. The show avoids pretty much all of Clamp's problematic tendencies. Look them up, I'm not getting into it here. And is absolutely the best work to come out of the company. I'm sorry, Tsubasa fans, I know the truth hurts. Yuko really makes the show work though, and her ability to bounce between mysterious and silly is truly a sight to behold, which is only improved by the voice work of Colleen Clinkenbeard, my personal favourite VA. It's really only thanks to her that Yuko does work, and that's what makes scenes like this.
What, Anuki? The red bat. Names are more important than you'd expect.
What are you doing?
See, naming something empowers it. Whether an object or a person, whenever you attach a name to anything, its potential function in the world around you changes accordingly.
I fail to see how this will help our situation. You have got to be kidding me! Hold on a second!
Consider yourself liberated, nothing more to worry about.
Worked just as well as scenes like this.
All right. Then I suppose it's time for my story.
Kinda scared to hear yours. I'm sure it's gonna be terrifying.
Look behind me. You see that shape on the screen? Does it look familiar?
The ceiling just moved.
Yes, it did. Interesting.
It sounds kind of like somebody's moving around up there. Hold on, it's coming from all over.
It almost sounds as if somebody's crawling around on all fours.
Oh no! Earthquake?
I don't think that's it. Take a look inside the water dish.
With all this shaking, the water should be moving.
Yes. The barrier is in danger.
The show's honestly quite enjoyable, and it even got a movie where we get to see Yuko walk through the spiritual equivalent of a tactical carpet bombing like the queen she is. Give the show a watch if you're in the mood for something spooky, funny, and just a tad eccentric. My favourite episode is the one with the haunted picture and the perfect punishment. This is the only time I'm going to recommend two shows in tandem, and that's because, as my friend Kay pointed out, they feel like reflections of each other, with the biggest difference being their different genres: fantasy for Mushishi and sci-fi for Kino no Tabe, or Kino's Journey if you prefer. Both shows are cozy, somber, episodic anime about exploring the world and understanding the differences between people, and can be summed up with this tagline from Kino's Journey: "The world isn't beautiful, therefore it is." I won't go into too much detail for these shows, because I think taking the journey with the characters is an integral part of the experience. All you need to know is that Mushishi follows Ginko, a Mushi master who seeks to aid both humans and the spirits known as Mushi, as he travels across Japan, rarely returning to the same place twice. Kino's Journey, meanwhile, is about the titular Kino, a young adult travelling the world with their telepathic motorcycle named Hermes, with the goal of simply wandering and seeing all the world has to offer, never staying in a place longer than 3 days. Both shows are quiet, contemplative works, and are well worth your time. Kino's Journey also got what I believe might be a remake in 2017, but I haven't seen it yet. Mushishi was recommended to me by my friend Kay, and their favourite episode is the first one actually, while my favourite episode of Kino's Journey is the one where Kino tells stories to railroad workers.
Say what? 나부터 고전 아이 붐바페 붐바페 go quick style 하얗게 알았을까 겁나 지자이다세 오래됐지만 도멜러를
Okay, so this couldn't be more different from almost anything else on the list if I actively tried. Bobo is...
But it's Bobo Bobo. Bobo!
Right, Bobo.
Bobo Bobo. Bobo!
God, okay! This show is peak anime weirdness and the very definition of taking refuge in absurdity. So the basic premise is that the evil emperor Baldy Bald III has declared open war on hair and is forcibly balding innocent people, so our titular hero sets out to defeat the hair hunters with the power of his weaponized nose hairs. It's not actually as gross as it sounds, he practices very good hygiene. I actually kind of struggle to properly describe the show because it's just really fucking stupid, and it knows it's really fucking stupid, and it's perfectly happy staying really fucking stupid. And honestly, that's the appeal. I mean, when the most threatening enemy the group faces pulls this stunt...
My tank's full, it's game over! I can turn into my real self!
Oh, not that! He's about to turn into his real self!
What do we do now?
Game over. What's Over up to? The true power of his anger is about to be unleashed. Never before has the gang faced such tremendous adversity. Never faced such unbelievable odds they've never faced.
Torpedo girl!
and actually becomes an even bigger threat, only to be ultimately beaten by this.
I will annihilate all of you before the commercial break!
You don't seem to understand the universe yet, do you, little lady? Our solar system is part of the Milky Way galaxy, which is a small part of the universe, which is made up of billions and billions of stars and washed-up has-beens, which make up the greater cosmos. The universe rocks!
I don't understand this show!
How do you even describe it to people? When the show is filled with constant combat cross-dressing like this...
Just won't listen to me anymore, ma'am. You should just put him in his place and tell him exactly what you want him to do, ma'am. Word up, ma'am. I'm so nervous, ma'am. But you're right. I need to tell him tonight.
Later that very same night.
Holly, darling, could you... Show me the money!
Or this...
I know! I'll defeat this Super Fist with an unexpected counterattack! This should work! Super Fist of the Nose Hair, Cinderella story!
In the place of literally any fan service, what do you tell people? The show starts out weird and only gets weirder with each episode, and it's my favourite thing ever, and you should definitely watch it. I'm serious, you have to see this shit. It's rapid-fire, absurd comedy that, even if a joke falls flat, it doesn't slow down long enough for it to really be a detriment. It doesn't take itself seriously at all, and neither should you. I mean, it's got this scene, so it basically speaks for itself.
I know my attack can beat this game! The Super Fist of the Nose Hair! Imaginary grilled meat. It makes you feel like you ate grilled meat even though you didn't. That way you feel gorgeous and full without spending any money. It's super delicious.
It hits the spot.
How'd they do that?
Phoenix, cut through the darkness!
Oh! Short-lived beam! Whoa!
The rest of the main cast is made up of Beauty, who acts as the token straight man,
This must be a fairy tale! Everyone knows guys can't run in heels!
General Jelly Jiggler, the pathetic punching bag,
Super Fist of the ultimately evil sword jelly cubes! I'm trying to block this out!
Gasser, who fights with
Fist of the back wind! Get a whiff of this! Gas grenade, braking rocket, stench torpedo, air biscuit, barking spider!
Farts, Don Patch, who is an absolute lunatic,
I am the love hunter. I've studied the attraction between the X and Y chromosomes, with X being female and Y being male. And when Y leaves enough dirty underwear lying on the floor, X gets worked into a frenzy and shouts, "Why, why, why?"
And Soften, who does this.
So how's it feel to be in the palm of a goddess?
Ah! Hey, you're up and around already? So, how does a guy like you have a goddess as a friend?
First, you never really beat me up like you thought you did. That was just a dream. So what are you thinking now?
Just pure thoughts? Why?
Hi, I'm your pure thoughts.
Are you kidding? I never think in pink. Got it, Flowerhead?
And as for having a goddess gal pal, we met at a Save the Trees rally.
Really?
Know what comes next? The judgment of you and your pure thoughts. Goddess Lancelot, it's judgment time!
What I do? Oh!
Now you've served your sentence.
And peace and love will rule the day.
Everything functions on rule of funny, with most battles being decided not by who's necessarily stronger, but by who can be the most ridiculous. And once you establish that, anything can happen.
The nose hair turned into a dragon! As nose hair often will do if you don't keep an eye on it. Whoa! And then it woke up the other nose hair dragons. Hey, whatever, I'm just glad to be back. Those are some angry boogers. Now to unleash the true power of nose hair!
Will this be enough to defeat Giga?
What is this power? The entire world feels like it's shaking! Release the nose hair soul! Friends, there's weird, and there's bo-bo-bo-weird, and we just blew right past all of them!
Why are you exercising now? This is total chaos! Who knew that the Earth could use?
You are done, Giga! Go ahead, dragons, attack!
Stupid dragons, you attacked the wrong god!
I'll admit the show is a little slow to start, but stick with it for just a little while and you'll have a great time. And if absolutely none of what I said appeals to you, then I'm sorry, but I think you just hate fun. My favourite episode is the one where they fight the girl that puts people into sleep by melting her heart. You know, the subs or dubs debate has been going on for a very long time, but it hasn't really been super relevant since dubbing companies learned they don't have to Americanize every little detail. They can just let something cultural be and treat it seriously, which is great. But it does sadly mean we'll probably never get another show like this again. I'm not sure exactly how true this is, since I was told the story by an older member of the anime club I was in, but apparently Ghost Stories was really poorly received in Japan. And when they brought it west for dubbing, they basically told them that they could do whatever the fuck they wanted, so long as the method of sealing the ghosts stayed the same, which led to...
There's nothing to be afraid of, Pichu. Monsters only get evil people like Republicans, and we're not old enough to vote. You're such brave, strong, handsome men. Have you accepted Jesus as your personal savior?
No, I'm Jewish.
Principals always look like lesbians.
Whatever. Just fill the hole filler.
And don't even think about holding it in. It isn't healthy. All your butts will explode.
Well, what do we have here? A class cutter. All the bigger boys in detention are gonna love you.
I thought you were the girls' track coach.
What is essentially an official abridged series. Like any abridged series, it's very much a product of its time, and a decent portion of the humour is reliant on either shock value or references, and if you can get past the very juvenile feeling, you can get a lot of mileage out of it. That said, it hasn't aged the most gracefully.
Stay there! I'll stand very close behind you.
Well, if you're gonna stand close behind me, stand closer. I can't even feel it. And they wonder why I like black men.
But if you are looking for something with an early YouTube abridged series feel, this might be the show for you. My recommendation for the show is entirely reliant on your fondness for crude, irreverent humour, but a lot of people seem to enjoy it. My favourite episode is the one where they go to a ski resort and this one girl screams every time the lake is on screen.
眩しくて眩しくて僕は目をそらしてしまう似合う言葉一つだって何も言えない僕さん
And so the pendulum swings back again. Skip to Loafer was actually recommended to me by a few different commenters on my trans rep video. And if you guys are watching this, thank you so much. Thank you so fucking much. This show is wonderful and I'd never have known about it without you. Skip to Loafer is a coming-of-age romantic comedy slice of life about Mitsumi Iwakura, a girl from Ikejima who moves to Tokyo to live with her aunt for school with a surprisingly solid life plan backed by an only somewhat unearned sense of confidence.
今日だけじゃない。私はこの高校生活、ただの一度だって失敗しない。なぜなら、私には明確な人生設計があるから。大学はもちろん T 大、法学部を首席で卒業。総務省に入省し、キャリアを積んで過疎対策に大きく貢献する。定年後は地元に戻り市長を務める。官僚時代のノウハウを生かし、財政を大幅に改善。死んだらお骨は日本海に撒いてもらう。
However, things don't go as planned and she ends up getting lost and running late, which leads to her introduction to Sosuke Shima, co-protagonist and soon-to-be best friend, maybe even more. And despite her somewhat rocky first impression, Shima finds something about her naively earnest spirit so endearing that he can't help but stick with her, and they grow very close very quickly.
嘘すごい偶然毛の色とかもそっくりすごーいおいおい
Honestly, earnest is the best way to describe this show, with loving effort put into making every character complex and likable, which holds doubly true for Mitsumi herself. There's a running trend of Mitsumi's earnest and pure nature improving the lives of those around her, from giving Shima a reason to like going to school, to helping Makoto to come out of her shell, to inspiring her aunt to be her true self. Nobody who meets her comes away without being changed for the better. Even Mika, who at first comes off as a conniving, popularity-driven mean girl, finds she can't bring herself to dislike Mitsumi. Also, God, I didn't realise until I sat down to write this how many fucking M names there are on this show. Honestly, all of the characters reveal hidden depths with time, and there isn't a single one I don't like. This show oozes a warm, comforting charm that makes you want to wrap yourself in a blanket with some popcorn and hot chocolate. It's kind of intoxicating how cozy it is sometimes. Also, it would be a legitimate crime for me not to talk about Aunt Now, who is best girl, alongside all the other best girls. This show is nothing but best girls. But what sets her apart is that she's one of the most realistic and respectful portrayals of a trans woman I've seen in any anime ever. Now is pre-op and in the middle of transitioning and works in the fashion industry, and while the show does occasionally bring attention to her appearance, it never treats her or her identity as a joke. She's given a lot of great characterization, and she helps out both Mitsumi and Mika on multiple occasions, even becoming something of a mentor figure and a friend to the latter. Honestly, this show has quickly become one of my favourite anime of all time, and I highly recommend it as a comfort show. This show will make you smile, guaranteed. My favourite episode is the one where Mitsumi is adorable, which is, all of them.
知らない言葉を覚えてゆくたび面影の中手を伸ばすのだけど一人ではわからないこともあるのかもしれないさよならは苦くて愛して
And this show is guaranteed to make you cry. There's some kind of anime law that says any and all possibilities must be explored through the medium of cute girls doing things. And this show proudly provides us with cute girls recovering from the trauma of being a child soldier by writing letters for people who can't write letters themselves. Right, so Violet is a cute girl who, etc., and her story is one of emotional growth and self-discovery. Violet was a child soldier who was gifted to a man named Gilbert by his complete bastard of a brother, and she couldn't read or write or even speak until he decided to care for her and teach her himself, becoming a surrogate father figure. and then she loses him at the end of the war and slowly begins to grow as a person, learning how to understand emotions through her interactions with other people. She also lost her arms in the same conflict that supposedly took Major Gilbert's life, getting them replaced with cool automail arms. And I'll be honest, when I first heard of the show, I kind of expected it to be a lot more shonen, I guess. I mean, when most anime present a prodigy child soldier or someone with metal arms, you'd expect the action to ramp up. But no, what you instead get is repeatedly pummeled in the feelings again and again, as you realise that Violet's personal growth, while remarkable and a joy to behold, can only lead to further sadness as she comes to realise exactly what it is she's done and what she's gone through and what she's lost.
With the very hand that took the lives of so many, you write letters that bring people together?
You see, your soul is on fire. You're burning up right now, because of the things you did.
I'm not...
Yes, you are. You'll understand what I mean someday. And then you'll realize, for the first time, that you have many burns.
Major.
Just live.
Am I allowed to?
You have to be free.
Am I really allowed to live? After killing so many? Have I not taken away someone's one day before? And did those people not have people they loved as well? I'm not burning. I am burning. I am not burning. I am burning. I feel the fire spreading from all the things I've done. I'm on fire.
Violet starts the show struggling to understand the basics of human emotion, and with the goal of learning to understand one simple thing: what does "I love you," the last words the Major told her, even mean? And the emotional journey to understanding that makes up the bulk of the overarching narrative, with each episode being another step progressing towards that understanding. And it's a tragically sad and horrifically beautiful thing. Rewatching the anime recently, I found Violet to be the second anime protagonist that I relate to on a very personal level, because she feels somewhat coded as autistic with her inability to fully comprehend or read people's feelings and intentions. She even outright apologizes and states on multiple occasions that she struggles with this, which is something I've had to do numerous times myself.
That's not a... No! You really don't understand other people's feelings, do you?
I am very sorry. I thought that I had finally come to understand feelings better, but people's feelings are quite complex and sensitive. Not everyone chooses to say exactly how they feel. They sometimes say the opposite or even lie about it. It's very difficult for me to accurately understand them. I'm afraid I don't always get it right. I am truly sorry.
Of course, I'm not saying she actually is autistic, just that I can relate to her struggle. This is more applicability than metaphor. If I get another, actually, this is just motivated perception and you're just projecting comment, all I have to say to you is, I know you think you're very clever, but you've only missed the point, and mansplaining artistic intent to me is only going to make you look like a jackass. Violet Evergarden is an incredibly beautiful and emotionally cathartic show, and I highly recommend it to anyone looking to either have a good cry, convince someone that anime is really good actually, or win a debate on whether or not it's art. My favourite episode is the one where Violet helps a playwright to finish his manuscript and come to terms with his grief over his daughter's untimely death. Did you know that Ryoko Kui loves Baldur's Gate? Apparently she even decided to go on hiatus to play the game more, which I honestly respect. More mangaka should take time off for stuff like that. Let's make it the new norm and fight back against the horrendously abusive crunch culture they all live in. Dungeon Meshi, or Delicious in Dungeon if you prefer, is a surprisingly cozy anime about a group of adventurers who lose a member to a red dragon and vow to get her back as soon as possible, which means they're forced to skip buying new gear and supplies and are forced to survive off only what they can scrounge up in the dungeon, which ends up being both a blessing and a curse. Specifically a blessing for Laios and a horrible curse for Marcel. The characters are all incredibly lovable and well written, and the party dynamic makes it feel like an actual D&D party, which I've always found to be a major bonus. Each of the main characters has an incredibly distinct personality and surprising depth, though I won't spoil it too much. It's something best discovered on your own. Chilchuck is the rogue of the party with sharp senses and a sharper tongue. He's also apparently a father of 3 and maybe even divorced? I'm not sure, but Tumblr's been pretty obsessed with him recently. His dynamic with Senshi is probably the funniest overall.
Get off that tile already! Fire traps spray oil and it won't stop till you move your dang foot!
Oil?
The last thing I need is a roasted dwarf!
Roasted, huh? No, not roasted.
Huh?
Fried. No, deep fried. Kakiage! We're having tempura for lunch today. You know where the oil for this trap is stored?
It's not used for cooking.
All right, half-foot kid. You an expert in cooking oil now?
I hate it when people call me kid.
Vegetable oil is the most common, and I bet that's what it is. Either way, I just want to check it for myself. If not, no worries, I won't use it.
Marcel is a kind of obnoxious but well-meaning half-elf mage who throws a shit fit every time the subject of eating monsters comes up. And I was going to say she comes off as someone's girlfriend who says she's good eating anywhere but is a dirty liar. But thinking about it further, she's more of a spoiled little sister who's not used to camping yet but is still trying her very best. Honestly, she's pretty great.
Oh. Laios, no. No!
I think we just found our lunch.
That's gross! Ew, no! I don't wanna!
Senshi is the best character in the entire show and functions as their guide and cook, and he's honestly just super fun. He's been living in the dungeon on his own for a decade and is just a little nutty, but his heart's in the right place, especially when it comes to people's health.
First, improve your eating habits. Second, get enough sleep. Third, exercise. Follow these 3 rules, and in no time you will get stronger.
He's also the only one who actually knows how to cook. No spoilers from me, but he's definitely the fan favourite for a reason, or at least that's the impression that I get. Also, he's the only panty shot recipient in the entire show, which is hilarious and fitting considering he's the only one who doesn't actually cover his legs. Finally, there's Laios, who is a complete freak.
Mushroom foot sniffer.
And not in the usual pervert way, the dude's just obsessed with the monsters and eating them to a degree that borders on the fetishistic, and considering he's the white blonde human fighter, making him the biggest weirdo of the bunch is just mwah, beautiful storytelling. He's a good dude who cares a lot, he just tends to get a little over-enthusiastic. He also comes off as a little autistic, honestly, and a lot of people have agreed with me on that online. Honestly, this show just does everything right. The food looks as good as it normally does in anime, but they actually walk you through the steps of how the dishes are made, and watching it always makes me hungry. Well, hungrier, I'm pretty much always in a snacky mood. I mean, I'm snacking right now. The story also has a lot of surprisingly sincere moments too, and it's very easy to see just how good of friends the group is, no matter how much they bicker.
Hey, can you hear me? You okay there?
Yeah, I can never feel better.
Yeah, right.
She heard the scream. Let's keep talking to her and it'll help clear her head. Why do you do that?
When I heard my party call me a bird and I freak out. I do what I did to get back at them and make them grovel at my foot.
Why, you rotten...
Take it easy.
If I feel like I'm in a way and not helpful, it makes me real sad.
The deeper we get in here, the tougher the monsters. We need your magic to keep us all safe. I don't want you wasting your power when we're just 3 floors down. We all have strengths and weaknesses. And when things get crazy, I'm gonna need you to be ready. Till then, we can take care of everything else. We like to feel useful too. Go on, Chilchuck. Tell her.
I was wrong to say you were a burden. You've been a big help since day 1.
Say it like you mean it, Shorty.
I see you got your lousy attitude back, you little...
My favourite episode so far is the one where
Bread!
the party makes bread with some orcs and temporarily overcomes racism with the power of
Bread!
a shared meal and an adorable baby. Also, is it just me or is this orc kind of really fucking hot? Hey, do you remember Astro Boy? Well, this is him now. Feel old yet? Nah, I'm just kidding. This is Gesicht, the main-ish character of Pluto, an anime based off the 2003 manga series created by Naoki Urasawa, which itself is adopted from the Greatest Robot on Earth storyline of Osamu Tezuka's famous work, Tetsuwan Atom, better known as Astro Boy. Another anime that Kay recommended to me, Pluto is a sci-fi mystery thriller that follows Gesicht, a highly advanced humanoid robot working as a detective for Europol, as he attempts to solve the mysterious string of murders involving both human and robot victims. I actually plan to do a full video on Pluto in the nearish future, so I'm going to avoid saying too much here, but you should definitely watch the show yourself, as said video will contain major spoilers and I don't want to ruin the mystery for people. Fittingly for an anime about robots, Pluto is fixated on the question of humanity. When artificial intelligence grows sufficiently advanced, how do you draw the line between real and fake? Can you draw that line at all? Robots show the ability to love, to grieve, to hope, and literally to dream. The show draws lines between human and robot, but those lines are stepped over time and again, and the ultimate answer is something you'll have to experience for yourself. Or just hear from me once I finish the video on it, whichever you prefer. In real life, AI has come nowhere near as far as it has in the show, but given the time we live in, I think it's an interesting premise to explore, and this show gets very deep at times and asks hard questions about the nature of what makes us human. That's all you get from me for now, but I do genuinely hope some of you give the show a watch. I'd love to have more people to discuss this with. Also, AI art is theft. Eat my entire non-binary ass, tech bros. You know, I've tried 3 different times to write a proper introduction to the show, and each time I've had to start over because it didn't feel like I was doing it justice, and I'm still not entirely sure how to do it justice, because this show is really good. Like, one of the single funniest pieces of media to ever grace the screen, and all of it comes down to the fact that the only person who ever knows what's really going on is the telepathic 5-year-old, and she has her very specifically hyper-competent parents eating out of the palm of her tiny adorable hands. To greatly oversimplify, the story is that a super spy, codenamed Twilight, is instructed to get himself a wife and a child and enroll said child into Eton College so that he can get close to his target. Under the pseudonym of Lloyd Forger, he adopts a secretly telepathic child named Anya and fake marries Yor Breyer, a secret super assassin, and world peace depends on their success as a fake family. Now they become a real family in denial pretty quickly. Also, how funny is it that a fake family is called the Forgers? Anya is the star, and oh my god, I love this tiny gremlin child. She's adorable and sweet and under the most stress in the fucking world. See, her only desire is to live with her adopted parents, and she's well aware that her father's mission hinges on her success, so the abject fear of being put back in the orphanage, along with her genuine desire to save the world, is constantly weighing on her, and she does her absolute best. But she is also a literal child. She's also obsessed with spies, thanks to a cartoon she loves to watch, and one of the genuinely best parts of the show is when she gets accepted into the college. And to celebrate, they rent out a castle so she can have her parents play Bond Man with her, and oh god, the chaos that her father unleashes by literally demanding the entirety of his spy organization help make his daughter's fantasy come true. Just, it's the single greatest thing ever. Speaking of Lloyd, I love this anxious wreck of a Superman. He's only ever worked solo, so the sudden need to not only rely on other people, but have them be civilians, has him constantly thrown off his game. And the man is not immune to his cute daughter. There's a running theme of Lloyd trying to convince himself that everything he does is for the mission, but it's pretty obvious he cares a lot more than even he realizes, and it's an absolute joy to watch him slowly come to genuinely care for Anya and Yar, to the point where he almost fucking murders the man who made his daughter cry and insulted his wife.
Establishment cares if he's being slanderous. We're nothing more than a pretend family. This doesn't matter at all.
Oh, Mrs. Second Wife, don't snap at me just because she loves you less. Now I feel better.
Stand down, Twilight. Sorry. There was a mosquito.
Which, you know what? I wish he did. I wish Yor had fucking killed the man. If this is how the guy treats kids when their parents and other school staff are around, then he definitely abuses them when he's unsupervised. Also, Lloyd gets super embarrassed when he's forced to play along with Anya's script, and it's the best. Plus, come season 2, this man is so neurotic that Anya's able to play him like a cheap kazoo with almost zero effort in an attempt to help Yor keep her secret, and it's awesome. Finally, we have Yor, the single deadliest woman in the history of the world.
Oh, well, with all due respect, what I heard is that there's a traitorous scumbag staying here.
What's happening out there? It's an ambush! Some broad just...
Excuse me. Vice Minister Brennan from the auditing department, I presume? Terribly sorry for the interruption. But tell me, may I have the honor of taking your life this evening?
Yor seems like the deadliest, ditziest pinup doll at first, but she becomes the actually funniest character in the show, and my personal favourite. Like for instance, here's a few examples of her being absolutely terrifying.
A witch? This plot needs some focus.
Hold on, Frankie. I'm just gonna borrow this for a quick second. You need to be more careful. There's a baby in here.
She actually deals with quite a bit of insecurity, since she's not super good at traditionally feminine tasks, and since the show is set in the 60s, the societal pressure for that specifically is even worse than it is now. She is genuinely one of the most caring characters in the show, and even though she fumbles quite a bit, her family never stops loving her one bit, and she loves them too, enough that she briefly considers killing an innocent person if it means helping Anya get into Eden.
But if no spots open up...
Now, to be candid...
The Thorn Princess! What do you want from me?
I want one thing, Secretary Zachary Feiss, and that would be the honor of taking your life on this fine evening.
No! Please don't kill me! I have a son, he's only 6! He just passed the application process for Eden College! But if something happened to me, I'm afraid he'd have to drop out!
I'm aware. That's why I'm doing this. I need a position to open up for my Anya. So you have to die! No! You can't take the life of an innocent person because of some school!
She's a delight. Found family is objectively the best trope, and you can quote me on that and fight me if you want. And this show has it in spades. Actually, the show has a lot of really poignant moments as well, and it's only really thanks to the generally comedic tone that the emotional displays and serious scenes hit as well as they do. This show is just really well done overall. My favourite episode is the one where Yor gets shot in the ass, and due to the immense pain and the fact that her being an assassin is a secret, Lloyd thinks she's in a bad mood because he asks too much of her, and tries to take her on a date to show his appreciation, but she's in so much pain that half his plans go out the window until she accidentally drinks enough lethal poison to numb the pain and have a good time. Oh, this show's really good. I probably don't actually have to recommend the show. It's been making the rounds all over and has apparently won the Best New Anime of the Year award, which it definitely deserves. I already made a short video on Frieren as a character, so you can watch that if you want to know more about how much I love her. If all goes well, the banner thing should pop up in the top right corner of the video right about now. Sosa no Frieren, or Frieren Beyond Journey's End, if you prefer, follows the titular elf through her life after saving the world from the Demon King with a party of legendary heroes, and the majority of the story follows her life after her former friends have died of old age and she's been left to wander the world, living with their memories. She's not alone, of course, and very quickly builds a small party of herself, her apprentice Fern, and Stark, their warrior frontliner. Though I think most people who came to the series were drawn here by the absolutely beautiful combat clips, the show's main strength lies in emotional storytelling and interpersonal conflict, with some of the most genuinely well-written dialogue and characters I've found in almost any media. The characters, and not just the main characters, have had a great deal of effort put into making them feel both human and consistent, with identifiable behavioural patterns and attitudes, and with the exception of the demons, each character is invariably deeply intricate and complex and sympathetic. I've been told by some that the combat's not very good, especially in the early season, but I disagree. While it's true that Freeman and Fern stay fairly stationary in combat, that comes mostly down to their old-fashioned fighting styles, and the fact that they rely on perfecting the very basics of magic combat, since Freeman believes, and rightly so, that it's enough to handle any mage of the modern era. I'd also make the argument that the combat, while more subdued than in more battle-focused anime, is done really well. Not only is it beautiful, but scenes like this...
My mana, technique, and control are all far superior to hers. She can't compare to me in any way. The very thought of it is ridiculous. However, she is fast. I'm being overwhelmed by the sheer number of her attacks. Damn you, Freeran. How did you train this girl to put up such a fight?
Feel a lot bigger when the majority of the show is made up of slower, emotionally driven character interaction. And for what it's worth, it gets a lot flashier later when the wizard duels start up.
It's raining.
No, this is not the time to assess the situation. I must finish them off immediately.
After all that talk, you gave us an opening. Your panic is disrupting your mana.
You've only bought yourselves time!
Now it makes sense. I understand the reason you were too scared to fight us by the water. This is the perfect example of the high-volume physical attacks you mentioned being hard to defend against.
Lavina, don't let him escape. Brimstone!
You realize there's nowhere for me to escape to. This is exactly why I hate the water.
I don't really have a lot else to say about this show that I haven't already said in the Freeran Writing Ramble, so again, take a look at that if you want more detailed thoughts. This show is simply beautiful, and it's actually what helped remind me why I love anime, and get back into watching it again. If you only watch one anime from this list, let it be this one. Yes, I am completely biased, but admitting that makes it okay. My favourite episode is the one where Fern and Stark are left to their own devices and absolutely destroy the demons that look down upon them. You know, I had a lot of fun working on this. Obviously I can't cover every single show worth your time, and I'm sorry if I missed your favourite, but I'd like to think that making this, I might help someone find something they really enjoy. I genuinely think anime is a worthwhile medium, and I'm sad that I ended up needing to take a break from it for so long. But honestly, I'm ready to get back into it again, though obviously with more preemptive quality control this time around. If you guys would like to see a more in-depth look at any of the shows I suggested in the video, comment down below and I'll see about getting around to it. And if you like my work and are interested in supporting the channel, consider joining my Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you can help me afford the increasingly worrying amount of gummy candy it takes to get videos done. Thanks for watching, and I hope you're doing well, wherever you are.